Right, so this is weird, seeing as how I haven't uploaded in a while. Um, but when you don't have a big following and school gets in the way, it's pretty easy to ignore your responsibilities. But this is a little mini game that I kind of came up with one of my friends, and he didn't really know what he was giving me ideas for, but we were just talking, and I sent him this, and then he just started giving me ideas. So I built this over the course of like 2 or 3 days, but it realistically only took about probably 3 hours to get all of this done. It doesn't really look like a lot, but just with the type of logistics that you have to deal with and making sure that all the green lines connect and you get all the borders going, it can become quite troublesome, especially when you just going off the top of your head and you're just making whatever you want. So this is a game that I've named Speed Cake. This command block doesn't really do anything. It just makes it so that I can make this void around it. If I'm down low enough, it'll take all the grass and stuff out. So that's how I've been making this big hole. Over here is Dev Island, because I need stuff to be here so that the command blocks work and just so I know what everything is. So this is just the dev chest. It just has everything that I've been using. And then this gives constant speed to everybody. So I have speed 2 because the commands are weird, and even though I only want speed 1, it gives me speed 2. But if that's how it works, then that's how it's going to work. This is for the thing with the cakes, and this is also for the thing with the cakes. So I suppose if it's not clear, and I don't remember if I told you, even though it's been probably like 30 seconds, is that this is called Speed Cake. And you run around here, which is quite fun. These stairs can be quite troublesome though. And you just run around, and it's a little bit parkoury, and you can do a whole bunch of other stuff. One of my favorite things to do is this one, where if you don't hit the walls, which I did, you can actually just do that. You just make it right through there like that. And then with the stairs, I made this kind of not steeper, but smoother. And so this is just one big giant tag arena that you would get everybody on, and you run around and play tag, and just standard stuff. If you get punched, then you're it. You have to attack someone else. I might make custom items to just flat out kill the people, but I'm not sure yet, and this is very early stages. And last night when I tried to use Hamachi to get everybody on, Hamachi wasn't working, and so we were trying to find another VPN to use, and it just fell apart. So it actually hasn't been tested, so it's still very much in beta, and I hope that I get to test it at some point. But yeah, it's just tag and this cool looking geometric 5-block gray and green ribbon, and you run around and you play tag. There's some fun rules, like if you fall off and die, then you become the tagger. And also there's a thing with the cakes that can make you become the tagger. The reason the cakes are here is because normally whenever I play any minigame, or whenever I build something that people are going to be using for a while, I don't want to go through the hassle of making sure that they have food so that they can run and not die eventually. So typically I give saturation to all the players. And so when I was talking with my friend, I sent him a picture of this like arena type thing, pre-cake. And he was like, okay, so we're gonna need like saturation 1,000,000. And I was like, oh yeah, that's true. And he goes, or food. I was like, okay, well, I think we want to start with just saturation because it'll be easier than just trying to figure out something for food. And plus, this is a very new idea, and I don't want to experience feature creep and just have the entire idea thrown out the window, because that's how all of my projects die, is because I try to add too many things too quickly. And then I had to do online school this past week, so I had a lot of extra time on my hands. So as I was just doing school and I had extra time, I was messing around with this, and eventually he said cake, and I was like, okay, this is great, this is genius. So he just wanted cakes, and so I said that I could have cakes on a timer that respawn every so often in set locations, because making it random locations is not equivalent to the amount of work that I would like to do. So they have set locations. They spawn on these copper blocks. And so when you're running around, and you start to get hungry, you can like do a drive-by on the cake. And, you find a cake, there's one right here, and you just eat it up as you're going by, so that way you can keep running. But also, what everybody loves to do, because of, I think it's Portal, I hope it's Portal, if not, I'm going to make an absolute fool of myself, is the cake is a lie. So you can't actually go over the cake, otherwise it kills you. And if you die, then you become the tagger. So the cake is here to help you, but also hurt you if you try to step on it. I also wouldn't recommend jumping over it, because that also kills you. So yeah, but that's just the very early kind of setup for it. You run around to play tag, and your hunger goes down, so you eat the cake, and the cake comes back every so often, but also the cake kills you if you try to be above it. I don't know if I want to take the route of like a kit PvP, where everybody would have a kit and then you have your power-ups and everything, so that you can do stuff. So maybe one would be like extra speed, or maybe one would be jump boost to make jumps easier. Invisibility is always a nice one to do. But then you could also do like, you could give the tagger the glowing effect, so you know where they are, or you could slow them down. And then of course the tagger would have some which would slow everybody else down, or give everybody else the glowing effect, or make himself faster. But the issue with that is then there's clear top ranks, and then balancing that is kind of difficult, and just coming up with how to make, like, not how to make, but different ideas for all the kits it just gets kind of stale after a while. But yeah, that's the basic premise. Built everything by hand, and you run around and you eat cake. Don't be above the cake. If anybody's interested in the way that I did this, I set up this hopper clock that, as of now, I just have to manually stop and start with this lever, which unlocks both of these, which allows the hoppers to go in. I'm not really going to explain the hopper clock, but there's 3 stacks and 5 items, which hopefully should be about 2 minutes, and 37-ish to 40-ish, somewhere in that range. Like 2 minutes and 40 seconds, which is basically how long it takes you to get from, like, if you just died, you respawn with all of the saturation and all of your hunger and everything. So about 2 minutes and 40 seconds, 35 seconds, whatever it is how long it takes you to go from like a full saturation from when you die and a full hunger bar to 3.5 hunger bars left, which is just enough for you to keep sprinting and find some more cake to refill your hunger. It takes about 8 or 9 consecutive sprint jumps once your saturation's gone to go down half a hunger bar. And so I basically just stopwatched everything. And so these are all the different cake coordinates. And so every so often, like this will come here, and then it'll come back, and it'll power this entire line of command blocks. And these are all just the coordinates and everything. So I know that all of these control a single cake. And then at the end, you also get a message from the game that I need to change like this, and then it will say speed cake, the cake levels have been refilled, because I kind of wanted to make it a little bit funny. So that might change after a while, but yeah, that's a perfect example of when people forget not to be over the cake. But yeah, that's the basic premise. I'm thinking about doing more kind of updates like this in all the projects that I'm working on. I feel like it could be fun. I also just have to find the time. And if I get this working, hopefully we can get some videos of us all playing it. So yeah, and I suppose if this is to make it out into the interwebs and find some other people that I don't know, if you want to comment some minigame ideas that I could potentially try to make, then I could look into that, and that could be cool. But anyway, that's it for this one. See you in the next one, I guess.